It's a week to celebrate Alberta music. This was the week that ARIA, the Alberta Recording Industry Association, announced its nominee for the annual awards coming up on Sunday, November 6th in the main ballroom of the Chateau Lacombe in Edmonton. And so it's with justifiable pride that we feature some of the best music of the past year in our province as we play the recordings of the nominees. Mike Fijal, a longtime friend and musical confrere, joins us to talk about his music and his own special form of musical communication, space jazz. That was White Mud Fanfare, featuring the many trumpets of Mike Fijal. Actually, it's Mike overdubbing, a recording industry term that means the artist has multi-tracked or recorded over himself. It's just one of the cuts on Mike's new cassette release called White Mud. The cassette is what is sometimes called in the business a concept album. That is, there's a theme running through many of the selections, and that theme is the seasons as they affect the White Mud area of Edmonton, White Mud being a creek and park that wander through the southwestern part of the city. Besides White Mud Fanfare, other cuts include such titles as White Mud Winter, Blue is the Sky, and this cut, described recently by the Edmonton Examiner as the best on the cassette, called simply White Mud. That was White Mud, featuring Mike Fijal on flugelhorn. Also heard on that cut were Andrew Glover on synthesizer, Tom Foster on drums, and bassist Greg Dunstan. The cassette is available at Edmonton's Southside Sound and at Students' Union Records in the Hub Mall.
Initially, the first contact with jazz in my early days was that Take 30 program, you know, the theme music, Take 5, of course. So I used to jam with Paul Desmond on the record, of course.
Well, it's hard to imagine a better influence than Paul Desmond. Mike Fijal grew up in Edmonton and attended, in fact, he excelled in the Grant McEwen music program, accompanying many of their stage shows and appearing as a featured soloist with the stage band at Expo 86. He also won the 1985 National Music Trumpet Scholarship. Mike is a frequent guest at Edmonton's Yardbird Suite and has played with a number of pop, rock, and jazz groups, and I'm proud to number him as a sometime sideman in the Tommy Banks Big Band. In fact, Mike plays just about any kind of music he wants to. But in this conversation he recorded recently with Tony Dillon Davis, he talks about three specific types of expression: straight-ahead jazz, new age music, and then there's a variation he calls space jazz. We'll hear examples as we join Tony and Mike Fijal in our Arts Alberta studios. Tony asked him to, well, start at the beginning.
Well, back in Calgary, grew up in Calgary and studied some classical guitar and trumpet back when I was 12 years old. I got the two instruments at the same time. I've kind of been split between the two ever since, but been primarily oriented to the trumpet and flugel for the last several years.
What caused the movement over toward that? Just the recognition of that you were stronger in one, or what?
Primarily wanting to focus on jazz, you know, spontaneous improvisation, I guess. I discovered in classical guitar that it felt limiting to me. I was hungry for more and more material. I'd be expanding my repertoire and learning other people's compositions constantly, and got to the point where every time I wanted to just improvise on guitar, I found I'd go back to the old three folky chords type thing, and felt quite limited. There was a large gap between what I could do technically on guitar and what I could do improvisationally. Plus the fact that the trumpet, to me, the flugelhorn, was more of a direct contact instrument. It's, you know, it imitates the voice, right? it's a wind instrument. There's more emotional expression in it.
Did you learn your trumpet in a band, or did you take classical lessons in trumpet as well?
Some classical lessons on trumpet when I was rather young. Played in a band in school, and little combos, as a matter of fact, in school as well. But primarily self-taught after that early period. And
when did you decide that this was your thing?
Well, it's a a dangerous area.
Sorry for that question.
A dangerous area to commit yourself to too early, but certainly attracted to music ever since I was 12, and or before that, I suppose. But committed in the sense of learning the instruments and wanting to do it more and more. I was never a very practical sort when it came to committing myself to a career. So a career never became a question until I was really about 30.
30.
I've just been playing and practicing and learning and doing odd jobs to keep myself alive. But music has been an orientation for a long time.